This is ANF News. I am Kamil Sadiq. These are the major news headlines we are tracking this hour. The federal government of Nigeria has taken final delivery of Super Tucano jets. United Nations removes civilian joint task force from child recruiter list. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres urges Eswatini to respect children's rights. And on the world scene, US raises concerns over China's hypersonic missile test. President Muhammadu Buhari has threatened bandits with ultimate destruction after fresh violent attack in Sokoto State.
This opportunity to say a word on the recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians.
President Muhammadu Buhari has threatened bandits in the country with ultimate destructions while reacting to the latest killings in the northwestern part of Nigeria. Mr. Buhari's reaction is coming hours after armed bandits attacked a market in Goronyo's Sokoto State, killing at least 30 people. In a statement, President Buhari said the days of the bandits are indeed numbered because the military capabilities of the Nigerian forces are being boosted by the acquisition and deployment of advanced equipment. The president added that the cowardly attacks on innocent people by the bandits showed a rearguard action of criminals under pressure. Buhari then appealed to all Nigerians not to despair because his administration is determined more than ever before to protect Nigerians from murderous criminal gangs that have no respect for the sanctity of human life.
The protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice.
Reports during the weekend earlier indicated that the bandits, numbering about 200, raided the Sunday market and killed over 30 people. Many people have been killed or kidnapped in various attacks this year in states like Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna, Katsina, all in northern Nigeria. Attacks have continued despite the previous statement by the Nigerian president, as well as massive deployment of troops to the affected areas. The federal government of Nigeria has taken delivery of the final batch of the 12A29 Super Tucano aircraft. The federal government of Nigeria says it has taken delivery of the final batch of the 12A29 Super Tucano fighter jet, expected to bolster its fight against insecurity from the United States of America. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, disclosed this when he featured on TVC, one of Nigeria's television stations. The minister said all the 12 Super Tucano fighter jets have been received and deployed to the battlefield. Alhaji Lai Mohammed also said most of the successes Nigeria have recorded in recent times is because of the acquisition of new platforms not limited to the Super Tucano.
What is happening in the northwest and part of north central in terms of banditry is nothing but criminality, sheer criminality, and that this criminality has no religious, no ideological, or no ethnic basis. It's pure criminality. And he went further to say that what people don't understand is that between the forests of Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kaduna, and part of Niger State, that there are over 150 bandit camps, each with his own leader, independent of one another. And they operate independently. So when people talk about bandits, they don't really have an idea of what bandits are or how they operate.
Mr. Muhammad disclosed further that Nigeria will experience better food security with the improved security situation in the northeast and north-central zones. The Nigerian Air Force on July 22nd took delivery of the first batch of 6 of the A-29 Super Tucano aircraft from the United States. Those who received the aircraft included the Minister of Defense Bashir Magashi, Chief of Army Staff Farouk Yahya, and Chief of Air Staff Oladayo Amao. The United Nations has removed Nigerian Civilian Joint Task Force from the list of non-state actors recruiting and using child soldiers for war.
Il n'y a plus d'oratrices ou d'orateurs inscrits sur la liste. La séance est levée.
The United Nations has removed the Nigerian Civilian Task Force Vigilante Group from the list of armed groups recruiting and using child soldiers. The Civilian Joint Task Force (CJTF) has been working alongside with the Nigerian military in the fight against Boko Haram insurgency and banditry in the northern part of the country. The United Nations added the Civilian JTF to the list in 2016 after being accused of using thousands of children in combat and non-combat roles in the northeast of the country. The UN said the removal of the group from the list followed a significant reduction in the number of children recruited into its ranks. The UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, said the Nigerian Vigilante Group has so far released more than 2,000 children from its ranks, following an agreement signed in 2017. UNICEF said between 2013 and 2020, at least 3,500 children were enlisted into the group and used as suicide bombers, spies, and laborers. The girls often suffered gender-based violence, including rape. UNICEF added that many of the boys and girls have since been enrolled in schools and given psychological support.
President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana has visited Mali ahead of highly anticipated February elections. Our correspondent has more.
Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has told Mali's ruling junta that elections announced for February must go ahead on schedule. Akufo-Addo, who is the chair of the West African Bloc, ECOWAS, delivered the message to the country's strongman, Colonel Assimi Goïta, during talks in Bamako. Goïta is behind both Mali's recent coups, having installed a civilian-led interim government under international pressure after the first one, only to remove it in May, later declaring himself interim president. An ECOWAS delegation will return to Bamako at the end of October when they hope to receive the assurances they are seeking. Earlier, Goïta, who overthrew the elected president last year, met the Ghanaian leader at Bamako airport. Akufo-Addo was accompanied by Nigeria's ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, who is mediating in the Malian crisis, and Jean-Claude Cassibro, the ECOWAS Commission president.
The fight against piracy and kidnappings in the Gulf of Guinea has received a major boost as Japanese government allocate thousands of dollars to Nigeria's UNDP.
The Japanese government says it has earmarked $260,000 to combat piracy and kidnapping in the Gulf of Guinea, especially Nigerian waterway. The UN Development Program team led on governance, peace, security, Matthew Allo, said this is an inauguration ceremony of a 2-week anti-piracy first course organized by the Martin Luther Aguirre International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center in Jaji, Kaduna, northern Nigeria. The anti-piracy course was also a collaboration with the United Nations Development Program and Japanese government. The UNDP team, led Matthew Alao, said that out of the funds set aside for the project, $98,350 was set aside for the anti-piracy course, which their main objective was to abate the menace of piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. He thanked the government of Japan for investing into the project and for the sustained strong partnership with UNDP Nigeria. Also speaking, the ambassador of Japan to Nigeria, Matsunaga Kazuyoshi, said countries such as United Kingdom and United States are working together with the Nigerian government on security in the Gulf of Guinea. 16 coastal countries that are situated along the Gulf of Guinea include Nigeria, Angola, Benin, Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, Democratic Republic of Congo, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Gabon, Ghana, Sao Tome and Principe, Togo, and Sierra Leone.
The Ethiopian government has admitted it was behind airstrikes in Mekele, Tigray's capital, hours after it denied it was behind what rebels say were deadly attacks.
When a wave of popular protesters swept Ethiopia,
the Ethiopian government has admitted it was behind airstrikes in Mekele, Tigray's capital, hours after it denied it was behind what rebels say were deadly attacks. The attacks, according to the government news agency, had targeted rebels' communications and weapons facilities. However, media controlled by the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF) said 3 civilians were killed in the airstrikes. Ethiopia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs had earlier accused the TPLF of killing at least 30 civilians in recent attacks in Amhara and Afar regional states.
These terrorist forces have not reciprocated to the unilateral peaceful ceasefire, humanitarian ceasefire of the government. It has continued its aggressions of territories in the Amhara and Afar region. Otherwise, our missions abroad have been undertaking various efforts by way of briefing their interlocutors on the current situations in Ethiopia.
Meanwhile, the TPLF, which regards itself as the legitimate authority in Tigray, has not responded to the allegations its forces were behind the deaths of any civilians. The Ethiopian army took control of most of the northern region of Tigray in November 2020 after TPLF forces seized a military base. The 11-month conflict has led to the killings of thousands of people and caused a humanitarian crisis, with the United Nations warning in July that about 400,000 people were living in famine-like conditions.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed worries over the use of excessive force against student protesters in Eswatini.
Welcome all the members of the press.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed his worries about reports on the use of excessive force against student protesters in Eswatini. Students in the southern African country have been staging demonstrations in schools in recent weeks, leading to the army being deployed in some areas. The UN chief said the deployment of armed forces and the indefinite closure of schools adversely affect children and young people. The Secretary General condemned all acts of violence and appealed to all parties and the media to refrain from disinformation, hate speech and incitement. He urged the security forces to respect human rights standards, including the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, and emphasized the need to allow people to exercise their civil and political rights peacefully. Protests in Eswatini, formerly called Swaziland, came to life due to calls for reforms, complaints of high level of unemployment and poverty. Many Somalis have received death threats in the aftermath of the killing of British MP Sir David Amis. The Council of Somali Organizations, a body of Somalis living in the United Kingdom, says its members have been receiving death threats since the killing of British MP Sir David Amis. The British MP Sir David was stabbed multiple times during a regular Friday meeting with his Southend West constituents. Ali Arbi Ali, a 25-year-old British man of Somali origin, is being held under the Terrorism Act over the killing. A representative of the Council of Somali Organizations confirmed that Somalis and people of Somali heritage have been receiving death threats since the murder. Some youth clubs and community centers have also had to close because of threats, and people are so scared. The 69-year-old Sir David, who was married with 4 daughters and a son, is the second MP to be killed in recent years following the murder of Labour MP Joe Cox in June 2016. The latest attack has raised concerns for the safety of MPs, many of whom held constituency surgeries which anyone can attend.